Bonjour à tous. Je suis très heureuse de vous retrouver pour une nouvelle émission du Cœur à cœur. Voilà. Alors, cette émission est enregistrée, c'est une première et donc je suis sûre que vous serez tous nombreux à vouloir nous rejoindre pour ce Cœur à cœur où je reçois un invité, un chef d'entreprise néerlandais, Wouter Dropper, et on fera connaissance et découvrirons un petit peu son parcours plutôt atypique. Et vous savez combien j'aime les parcours qui sortent un petit peu de l'ordinaire. Un chef d'entreprise remarquable par beaucoup d'actions qu'il a mis en place. Alors, cette interview aura lieu en anglais. J'ai tenu à la faire dans la langue qui me permettait d'être vraiment dans un cœur à cœur avec mon invité. Aussi, vous aurez la traduction et c'est une expérience, mais ce sera quelque chose que je renouvellerai, puisque je trouve intéressant aussi de regarder les initiatives qui se passent un petit peu, dans le monde entier pour que nous puissions comprendre que, bah, ce mouvement, de transformation n'est pas juste, propre à notre pays, mais il est propre à un élan mondial. Donc il me semble très intéressant de pouvoir avoir des témoignages, de la sorte. Donc, on va accueillir notre invité, Wouter. Voilà. Hi. Hi, Wouter.
Hello,
How
good
are
to see
you?
you,
Hello.
Sheila.
Good to see you. Do you hear me properly? Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So I'm very pleased to welcome you in my show, which is the name in French, Coeur à Coeur, which is heart to heart, a real conversation with my guest. You are my guest today. And the idea is to share your journey, uh, your personal one, and the one who built the one that you are today, the entrepreneur. So I'm going just to make a quick introduction of what you are doing and who you are. A Dutch entrepreneur, you were born in Netherlands, 35 years ago, you're supporting leaders in the business world. You can correct me also. It's very
Yeah, yeah.
interactive. I
No,
like.
it's okay.
I like. um, you notably served as president of several companies in the automotive sector.
Mhm.
Since 2015, you are the president of Euro Partners, which is a European movement dedicated to Christian business leaders. So, in this role, you advise us, you support and encourage Christian entrepreneurs across Europe. That's what I loved when the first time we met together. I like the international also movement that you are pushing, and it's absolutely well, very, very interesting. You published a book titled The Jerusalem Entrepreneur, Becoming a Source of Well-Being. This book was also translated in several languages and in French under the title L'entrepreneur de Jérusalem, devenir une source de bien-être. In this work, you compare business models represented by the biblical cities of Jerusalem and Babylon. We will focus afterwards about those main principles, okay? So you are also married and you have two children. So welcome again, Wouter. Uh, well, I would like to start a conversation regarding your action about Euro Partners, because Euro Partners is something that you created, and you created with others, also entrepreneurs. I wanted to know how you came to decide to create this, and if you can give us some words about the action of Euro Partners.
Yeah. Yeah, Euro Partners is a movement of Christian entrepreneurs all over Europe. I did not create it myself. It already exists from 1989. And in 1989, the wall came down. So communism in Eastern Europe went away. And then the Christian business people from the Netherlands, Germany, UK, and France clung together. And they asked themselves, how can we bring the gospel after 40 years of communism in a new system? Because when capitalism breaks through in Eastern Europe, it will become a robber's game, and people will take their share. And the church is not very strong. It was connected to communist regime. They didn't have a
Yeah.
good reputation, And the question was, how can we bring the gospel on a trust base to these business people in the marketplace? And the best way we discovered was just by Christian business people. You do
Mhm.
business together, you have a trust level together, you can share life together. And they were very eager to learn from Western Europe and to see how they can become successful. And in that way, we can very natural share the gospel with them and also the good things from the gospel and the values from the gospel. Over
Mhm.
time, we ask ourselves, why do this only in Eastern Europe? Why not all of Europe? And so over time, we did it all over Europe. And yeah, we already exist for a long time. And I came to Euro Partners in 2015.
Okay. All right. Okay. And if you get just share some main points of the strategy areas where Euro partners are focused on.
Yeah. Euro Partners has a twofold goal. And the goal is to make Christ known to the non-Christian people. And the second goal is to equip and help the Christian business people to be very intentional about their faith in their leadership, entrepreneurship, and business, so that they can become a role model for others. You know, many people look at business, I want to become rich tomorrow.
So
And
yeah.
business people have some kind of new status in society. In the past, they maybe had not a good reputation, but nowadays they are seen as now the guys who can move something. See the election
Mm-hmm.
in America and how they celebrate entrepreneurship and business. So
Yeah.
they have influence. And a business in itself is a mini society, a small society. And people always ask me, but you talk about faith, but where can I see it? Where can I experience it? Where can I feel it?
Mm-hmm.
And if we as Christian business entrepreneurs can build a culture within our company that reflects the values of the kingdom, where
Mm-hmm.
you can feel the kingdom, where you can experience the kingdom, and that is being a living proof of the gospel and the values of the gospel. And in that way, people can easily relate to biblical terms like grace, forgiveness, love. What does it mean in daily life? And how
Mm-hmm.
can I experience it? And what is this God beyond it? And I think Christian business people have the calling to represent the values of the kingdom in their company,
Of course. Of
that people
course.
can connect to what
Yeah.
God would like to bring to earth and how He
Yeah,
would
we
like
need
to
to,
serve
yeah,
mankind.
we need to be incarnated. We need to all those values living in our daily life. That doesn't make sense only just to have a book to read each Sunday or to preach. That makes sense to make that values incarnated in each of our lives. So yeah, and I really appreciate and I love those kinds of values because it's not only Christian values, it is universal values. You don't have only Christian people in your circle, correct?
No, that's okay. But the values many people agree on. The
Yeah.
values don't separate us from others in society. Maybe
Yes.
people never heard of God or never understand Jesus, but the values of the kingdom, like integrity, honesty, living with excellence, serving others, loving others properly, justice, righteousness, all these values. And most non Christians said, Wouter, when you share this, I would like to live in such a world.
No, wonderful.
But the only thing is where we differentiate with the others, we think this world Christ will bring, and the other think we can build it ourselves. And there we differentiate. And the limitation of mankind, because I think, you know, God made man with huge opportunities, a lot of creativity, a lot of knowledge. We have many possibilities, many opportunities. We built great
Absolutely.
civilizations. We have high technology. But the problem is of this world is not the technology, is not the knowledge, but is more or less the morale, the ethics, who we are ourselves. That we
Absolutely.
use our principles or use our possibilities for good, but many times also for wrong. And
Hmm.
so the deep sense, the deep root of the problem of this world is not the technology or the knowledge or the entrepreneurship, but is the values we live by and how we practice them. And that we need something bigger than ourselves to bring that alive and to make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. Could you just have a quick words about how how you've been leading by, if I can say, the Holy Spirit really to 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 share that. Probably in your life something happens. How was your life without before coming to those values integrated in your daily life?
Yeah, I was always a Christian, but I lost my Christian roots or the real Christian life somewhere in my life. At a certain, I started just as many of us start coming from university, working in the company, making promotions, growing in that company. And my career went very fast. I was very successful. And then over time, because people start to praise you, people start to value you, people would like to join you and to be your friend, you start slowly to believe that you yourself are the one in the middle through
The
where
right,
everything goes.
a
And
small God,
a small God,
small
indeed.
God.
And basically, when I was 30, I think my life was basically about me, myself, and I. And
Mm.
I love to do everything. I was successful. I made a lot of money. My life was good. And I thought, I've done it, made it, I be it. But at a certain point, I came home and I was married and I had 2 children. And my wife said, Wouter, I don't like it so much, the way you live. I said, what's going on? We have a lot of money. We have a nice house. We have a nice car. We have everything. We have 2 children. We have a good life. We give money away. We do social entrepreneurship. What's wrong? And she could not explain. So, but there was something wrong, and I did not know what was wrong. So it took
Mhm,
us some therapy. We went into therapy, and in one of those sessions, she started crying, and she said, "You are not a bad person, but when
mhm.
you enter the room, the whole room is filled with your personality, and you make
Oh,
all the decisions in home. And where do we go on vacation? When do we go to eat? Where are we going to a restaurant? And sometimes I can hardly breathe. Do you still love me? And do you see me who I am?" And then she started crying, and I was asking myself, do I see her for who she is? I did
mm,
in the start of our marriage, but at that point in life, I only valued her because what she was giving to me. Good upbringing for
yeah.
children, nice home, good sex, representative lady. She brought a lot and added a lot to my life, and therefore I valued her. And then I slowly realized all my relationships meant something to me from my own perspective. Customers were an ATM machine or profit. Staff and employees were just costs in an Excel sheet or production
Mhm,
means. Friends
mhm,
were just a good time. So I
mhm.
did not look to people who they were, but what they brought to my life. And I started to
Yeah.
value them accordingly. And that opened my eyes that I said, no, I had to live differently. I have to look differently to people. And I moved also to another company to learn that more because I lived and I worked in a company with a lot of politics, with a lot of manipulation, using people, working
Mhm,
your way up to
mhm,
the top,
mhm.
using your elbows, being smarter than others. And I had the feeling I cannot change that culture in my own. And I looked
Yeah.
for another company with another business culture. So, and that made a tremendous shift in my thinking because I found a company with a healthy business, what we call nowadays a healthy business culture, where it is
Mhm.
about the client, where it is about serving with excellence, where people are in the center of the company and of the decisions you make. And that opened my mind for another way of entrepreneurship. Uh, but I learned that from a non-Christian. So
Excellent.
a new
Excellent.
question rose. So
Mhm,
if I'm a
excellent.
Christian and he's not, he's more ethical, he has a better morale, he lives better, and I long for his culture, what then does it mean to be a Christian in business? And where do we differentiate from people who just live by good values? And many do. And so that popped up a new question. And that question was answered when I started to work for a Christian business association in the Netherlands. It's called CBMC, Connecting
Mhm.
Business and the Marketplace to Christ, something similar as Europartners. In the Netherlands,
Okay.
it's a huge association with more than 4,000 people involved, more than 100 small groups, and they do all kinds of trainings and courses. So it was a full-time job. And in the first year, we started just to plan all our goals. And at the end of the year, I did not reach all my goals. And in business, that happened never. I always reached my goals. I've always exceeded my goals. I always was successful. And I had the feeling this year, we did not reach the goals. But now I work for God. And in the past, I worked for myself. So why is God not blessing me?
Yeah.
I went into a monastery for prayer and fasting and asking God, how can I explain what we have achieved this year to the board, to the members, to the other stakeholders, as we did not reach all our goals? And now I work for you, and I expected you to bless me even more. And I have the feeling you let me go. And then God asked me two questions. And the first was, do you really think you work for me?
Oh my God, it's amazing, really
I said,
amazing.
yes, I think so. He said, whose
Mhm.
reputation is at stake nowadays? Why are you here in this monastery? I said, my reputation, I feel I have failed. And said, okay, when it would be my kingdom, my reputation would be at stake. But now it's your
Oh,
kingdom and your reputation is at stake.
it's
So probably
amazing.
you serve still your own kingdom in the
Your
name of
own
Christ
freedom.
or whatever, but it's your plans, it's your strategy, it's your timelines, it's your success. And when it would be my kingdom, it will be my plans, my strategy, my timelines, and my success. But I said, God, we
Amazing.
are your hand and your feet. We have to do something. We cannot just wait till
Hmm.
you act. And he said, but I would like to work through you. And I would like to influence your strategy. And I think when it is my company, my ministry, let me be involved. And that was a major shift that I could ask that I had to transfer ownership to God and not see it as
Hmm.
mine, but that it is
Yeah.
His. That He wants to be involved when it is His company and His interest. He would like to be involved to steer it, to bring it to purpose, to help it. So, and that needed for me, and that was more or less the second thing. How do I understand God's voice for my daily life? And also
Yeah.
for my daily
How?
entrepreneurship and for my
Yeah.
business. So only
Yeah,
live
because
my values, or is there
mhm.
something extra?
Yeah,
And
because
the values,
you were used to use your own way to thinking, and you had to be more aware of how God is going to work through you.
yes.
Yeah. Mm.
So what I had to do is to give ownership back to God, said it's your company. And when I have to make financial decisions or other decisions, to pray to God and say, God, what do you want me to do in this situation? You know, in the past, I prayed God in the morning, God, do you want to bless my plans? And now I started the morning prayer, God, I have a problem with an employee, but it's your employee. How should we solve this problem? And that's not a
Mm.
kind of prayer, it's not a way of thinking. So when you have a surplus or you make a profit at the end of the year, God, where do you want me to invest your money? Should we
Yeah.
reinvest it? And should we spend it somewhere? Do you want to bring it to other people? Also with the strategic goals. I know from a friend, and he prayed God, he was in book printing. And God said,
Hmm.
I want you to be in software in another nation. I said, I don't know that nation. I have no clue about software. What should I do there?
Hmm.
But God, I would like to listen. So he traveled to that nation. He met some people from a church. And these people were very bright people. And they said, yeah, we understand everything about software, but we don't have resources. We don't have a market, etc. He said, I can help you to the resources. And now this company is really flourishing. It's
Hmm.
blessing the local community there, as it is a very poor community. These two bright people are now educating younger people. So it is
Hmm.
expanding.
It's
And
expanding. It's the
suddenly,
fruits. It's
yeah,
the fruits of the kingdom,
the
definitely.
fruit of
Yeah.
his money is now bearing much more fruit than if
Yeah.
he would have spent it for a new car or just extend his own company. So
Hmm.
listening to God makes a huge difference because he brings us somewhere sometimes we don't know about.
Yeah.
But uh, then afterwards, I asked him, I said, okay, but how did that change your life? He said, I have much more purpose in life. In the past, I worked
Hmm.
for money. I expanded my own company. I drive a nice car. And now I spend it to young people, build a whole new community, bring prosperity in that poor nation, educate new young people.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, this old company, I'm not
Yeah.
interested in anymore. I love to be there with these young people and help them. And that gives purpose to my life. It gives meaning to my
Yeah.
life. It gives me
Yeah.
fulfillment. It makes me joyful. I
Yeah.
was a little done with making money. I was
Mm-hmm.
to the end, said, oh God, I want something else. I've been there, seen it. And now I feel alive again, that I can invest in other people. And I think there is something of the secret. When God can speak directly in your life and you are able to listen and to follow, purpose will come in, joy will come in ways you don't expect.
Definitely, definitely. It's really something which is totally, well, how can I say? It's absolutely wonderful. When God is working in our lives, it gives another dimension of the person that we are, because we are often seeing us as so teeny, so in a small, just a box, a small one, but God has a great purpose for each of us. So when we hear Him, in the way that we are in our daily life, when we just humble our heart to his language, he can really work on us, definitely. um what about the book that you wrote about the New Jerusalem? I like the way that you took the two paradigm. It's the one with its Babylon and Jerusalem. Could you just share about that more, please?
Yes, these two cities of Babylon and Jerusalem, you see them already in Genesis, and the last book of the Bible, Revelation, ends with also these two cities. So they have a story from the start of the Bible to the end. And the book of Revelation gives us an insight of this world from a higher perspective. So they
Mm-hmm.
tell what's going on this world, but they look at from it from a heavenly perspective, a spiritual perspective. And then you see these two cities, and basically they are reigned by two different spiritual powers. Let me explain a little. The city of Babylon, when you read the last book of the Bible, is reigned by a spiritual power, and it's called the big or the great prostitute. And that
Yeah.
is because everyone would like to fornicate with her. Everyone would like to be part of her life, of what she is doing and what is she presenting. And what does she present? Basically, she presents a world we all long for nowadays, or at least many long for nowadays. She's rich, she's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, she's
Mm-hmm.
showing up with precious clothes and with precious stones. She
Mm-hmm.
parties a lot. She has a
Mm-hmm.
hedonistic lifestyle. She's saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm big, I'm a queen, I will never more, I will not be a widow. She has a lot of money. And all the traders and the business people like to do business with her because economy flourishes, she spends a lot of money, she consumes a lot, and everyone becomes better.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
is that not the society many of us long for? Material wellness, good looking, being seen. I want to be the important person. I would like to grow. And the business people said, oh, that's great. We can make money of it. And economy starts
Mm-hmm.
to flourish, etc. But she has
Yeah.
one big disadvantage. And the disadvantage is what my life was also about. It's only about me, myself, and I. So she puts
Mm-hmm.
herself in the middle. And that's also what
Mm-hmm.
we see nowadays. All these people who long for that put themselves in the middle. If I will be happy, the world will be happy. If my life is
Yeah.
good, the world will be good.
Yeah.
And that is her message. That's her gospel. And she hates Christians because Christians, they look to the common good, to the bigger perspective. Now, that's
Yeah.
the other city. And there's another spiritual power, and this spiritual power is God. And the amazing part of this spiritual power is that God, who lives in heaven, descend to earth.
Yeah.
And this lady, lives on earth and would like to glorify herself into her heavens and have an eternal fame, and that everyone keeps remembering her. God makes the other movement. He comes from heaven to earth.
Yeah.
He's not glorifying himself. He's taking the tears away out of the eyes of the people. He cares for
Mm-hmm.
them. He takes
Mm-hmm.
sickness away. He takes death away. He takes misery away. He takes war away. He's not clothing himself with precious stones, Now he's clothing the city, his people,
Mhm.
with precious
Mhm.
stones. He's not clothing himself with precious clothes. Now he's clothing his people with clothes of righteousness, or white robes. Uh, and the amazing part is, while he is clothing this city with precious stones, and these people start to glorify and to shine instead of that he does even the surface that is below the ground, he's putting precious stones on. So
Mhm.
the beauty is a beauty that shines from inside out. It's more about who you are, who you became, your
Mhm.
nature, your heart, the culture he creates that makes this city shine.
Yeah.
Um, and you see a complete opposite dimension. Me, myself, and I serve others. I want to glorify myself. I'm there for others. And that is more the spiritual insight. But this whole story started already in Genesis. And there you see also
Absolutely.
the two founders. And the founder
Yeah.
of the city of Babylon is Nimrod.
Yeah.
And Nimrod, he's an amazing character because the Bible says there was no one like Nimrod before. So he made a change. He was a key character in history. And let me
Mhm.
tell a little about how people lived before Nimrod. They lived in small tribes, in small families, taking care of their herds, taking care of the land. And prosperity and well being was, if we as a family, if we as a tribe, we can live together, we live in peace, everyone has enough. Great. Then we are together. Relationships are important, honor is important. And sure, there were some wars about a well, a piece of land. But there was no
Mhm.
one really going out to conquer other nations and to submit
It,
people to him.
it was
And
a
that
kind of Eden. It was a kind of Eden.
kind of Eden, with all brokenness and also evil and some fights, but they were limited to a
Yeah.
level of existence or limited to the tribe. And evil said, no, 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 no. That's not my kind of living. I have to
Mhm.
tell another thing before I turn to Nimrod, is that the prosperity they gained, their earning model was, we add value to what is already given to us. So they took
Mhm.
good care of the cattle, they took good care of the sheep, and then the sheep yield more wool, the cattle give more milk. They added value to the soil, they fertilize it, they pluck it, and then the crop yield more. So adding value to the ways of existence was their
Yeah.
earning. Now Nimrod is different. Nimrod was a hunter. And what does a hunter? He goes out, he kills, and he takes. And that's an earning model I see nowadays a lot in companies. We need to erase the competition, we need to create monopolies, we need to live for ourselves. But if you always kill and take, or if you always reap, or if you always harvest, what is the consequence? The soil becomes
Mhm.
poor, and everyone becomes poorer at the end. And only the one who kills and takes, he grows. But what
Mhm.
he kills and takes, he consumes immediately. So at the end, the world will be seen poor. So,
Yeah.
and when you have scarcity, you start to extend your way of living because you need to conquer other nations, to conquer other people, to submit other people, to tax other people, to keep this hunting and harvesting going.
Mhm.
And instead of adding value and creating prosperity for all, and by adding value to make everything flourish, they start to take and to flourish themselves. But everyone becomes poorer because they need it
Mhm.
and they consume it, and at the end, nothing is there anymore. So
Yeah,
that's a
they were
very
greedy.
destructive
They
model.
were greedy. Everything is for them, only for
Yes.
them, no sharing. Yeah, that's it.
Now,
Yeah.
and nowadays, what I see, and when I visit companies, I advise a lot of business people, also a lot of companies. When I enter into the boardrooms, I can immediately see what model they embrace. If they have a model, business is war. It's a zero-sum game. When I win,
Mhm.
someone else lose. It is a competition. We need to beat. We need to create monopolies. We need to enrich ourselves. We need to focus on profit maximization. Then I see people who talk about bonuses, who talk about the next holiday, who glorify themselves, who are proud on themselves and what they achieve. And sometimes I enter into boardrooms and they have the discussion. How can we
Mm-hmm.
increase our service? How can we add
Mm-hmm.
value to the customer? How can we add value to this world? How can we create more well-being with our company? They don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about their bonuses. They don't talk about the next holiday or the next car or the a trophy wife or the new status symbols. They talk about improving their business and serving other people. And
Mm-hmm.
there you see everyone flourish. They start to cooperate with other people. They build ecosystems where they can live in, where they can flourish in, where other people can flourish in. And in cooperation and sharing and adding value to the customer and to the system, they create well-being for all. Now, that's a
Mm-hmm.
completely different model. And in my book, I describe both models.
Yeah, just for helping people to see how it could be done in a concrete manner in their own life. Could you share some examples that you have, some personal stories about entrepreneur that changed the way of seeing things in their companies?
Yes, I worked in a company. What was I told you first? I worked in the companies of me, myself, and I.
Mm-hmm.
Great benefits, flying all over the world, driving great cars. I was in automotive business, and there was a reason, a year where we were close to be number one in the local market, and we said, okay, we will push this. And so we put a lot of registrations in the market. We put a lot of discounts in the market just to become number one.
Mm-hmm.
But what you see is that the profitability goes down. Sure, the overall profit increased because your turnover increased, but your return on your investment is lower. Then I moved to this other company, and they made 4 times more on every euro they invested than the former company. And they were only looking in how can we serve the customer. So it was not about turnover. It was not about being number one. It was just
Mm-hmm.
having a good service, deliver a good service, putting the client first, and therefore they made more profit. Now, as I was in cars, how did we sell a car in the second company? We spent time with the customer, we knew the customer, we talked with the customer, and we sold more or less about out of a relationship. In that
Yeah,
time, I was responsible for Volvo and Range Rover, and it could happen that someone comes in, we had a great talk about his family, and then at the end he said, "Oh yeah, and by the way, I would like to have that car, a new one. Give me the blue one." And I sold the car for 150,000 euros.
Mm-hmm.
That's another way of thinking. It's another way of
Yeah.
living. It's another way of acting. And the profit is much better because price is not an issue. Because you
Mm-hmm.
talk about trust, you talk about service, you talk about that you have a good product. And in
Yeah,
the other company,
you consider, sorry to interrupt you, you consider the person you are talking with. You
yes,
build a real relationship, a human one, you know.
yes,
So and speaking for the family, speaking about everything out of the business, in fact, helps a lot.
yes.
Mm.
So and that's the same what you see now and now more as a trend also in the marketplace. That more and more companies focus on company culture and on culture than on results. And you have
Mm-hmm.
companies who focus on results. So what happens when you focus only on results? If you don't get the results, you have failed.
Yeah.
And when you happen over and over again, you will become a failure. And
Mm-hmm.
when you win, you feel good. And when you fail, you feel bad. So your life becomes a zigzag. When everything
Yeah.
goes well, you are high, you fly. When tangible successes stay away, you feel low and everything feel low. And when you succeed not enough, then at the end, you leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good for your personal health. It's not good for the company itself. People don't like to work in these kind of companies anymore. And they
Yeah, it's
move to
true.
companies with a purpose who said, no, we have a company. We have guidelines, we have goals, but their goals are more learning goals. We try to achieve that, and we don't achieve that, we talk what went wrong, how can we improve. So they are learning goals, and they guide our behavior. But the underlying driver is purpose. So what do we add to society? What do we add to this world? What is the good or the common good? And how can we create a culture where everyone fits in its rightful place, that your
Mm-hmm.
talents match the role you have to run in your company?
That's
And
the
when you
Bible
find,
who says that. That's the
yeah,
Bible. We have to bring our talents in the word to grow because we were built by our Creator in that way.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And when you can put people in the rightful place, when they can do where they are designed for, and everyone has a different role, and they can live it, and they believe in the purpose, the common purpose of the company, and they believe in what you do and what you believe about this world, they will work for themselves out of their
Hmm.
own ambition, out of their own drives, out of their own beliefs, out of their own purpose to make it happen. And that creates a complete different atmosphere in the company, in society, and a different outcome. And then results will flow automatically from that. And I think that is that's important. Jesus says something similar. He said, "Focus on the kingdom and its
Yeah.
principles first, and all the other things will flow from that. And when you start to work and to live and to act according to that, you don't have to worry about your daily food, your daily income, your clothes, because it will be blessed. It flows from if you do the right things will come, and
Hmm.
they will come to you. And I
Yeah.
believe in that principle, and I think so. Focusing on culture first above results is key. Sure, we
Yeah.
have to put some marks at the end as a direction. There is where we want to go.
Hmm.
So you have a budget, you have a market goals, but it's not about the goals. It's about what you deliver to the market, what you deliver to this world, and these goals only
Yeah.
guide the process towards it. I
Hmm.
think that is a very important no, principle. I
Yeah.
see a big company, a Christian company in America. It's Coca-Cola Consolidated. They are at the
Hmm.
stock exchange in New York. They are the bottler for Coca-Cola, so they have a bottling
Hmm.
company, and
Okay.
they focus on culture first. And what you see there, because they focus on culture first, they get the best employees. They get all the people from the university said, "Ah, we would like to work for that company because I like the culture, I
Hmm.
like what they do."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they have chaplains in their company who take for mental problems, who take care of marriage
Yeah.
problems. They have a quick response team because in America sometimes a tornado comes and then the city is wiped away. Then they rebuild the
Hmm.
houses of the employees, but they also rebuild the houses in the neighborhood.
Oh
And
my God.
so they also have a very generous fund where people can make proposals and then they will double the income. Uh, and in all kind of levels, they work on taking care of the people, working on the purpose, reflecting God. And he said, everything we do, we would like to honor God. And we do that by growing with excellence in a
Hmm.
profitable way.
Hmm.
Sure, we have to make profit. That's part of our system, our economic system. Nothing wrong with that. And
No, but it's good that you say that. It's good that you say it's nothing wrong, because mainly people think that being in kind of church or following Jesus require just to be poor, to not to have any wealthy financial status, which is completely wrong. God give us everything, and money is also a part of His benediction. We could
yeah,
be blessed also on that way. It's not something that we should oppose, definitely. Yeah. When I hear you, it's so positive in a way. And also, it makes me feel that it requires for the people who want to follow this path to have a big faith, to grow their own faith. And how in your daily life and how in your life that starts, how that starts, because at the beginning you told me that you told us that you are from a Christian family, but mainly Christian family are just reproducing exactly the same thing, going to church on Sunday, but not require all the real values of Christianity. So for you, how that grows in your
yeah.
life?
It was the change from being ambitious and setting my own goals and being ambitious for my own life to moving to a calling. I'm called to do something. So before I started in my working life, I started just working because to create an income. And I think many of us do. You know, you have a family, you have a house, you have children, you need to take care of them, therefore you work. And many people see work as a curse. I have to work to maintain my family, but doing nothing is actually the heaven on earth.
Yeah.
I don't agree to that. So it starts with taking care of. Then when you will become successful in your work, your success take over and it gets grip on you and you want more of that and you become ambitious and therefore you excel and you work harder and when it pays and you are successful, this ambition start to reign you. I told you about the story about me, myself and I. That happened to my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
After the monastery, I understood work is not for ambition or only maintaining. Work is calling. I'm called to serve here.
Mhm.
And if I understand my calling, then I need to understand the goal, why I am there. Well, I know the story. It was in 2012. I was with my daughter in London around Christmas time, doing Christmas shopping, having a great time together. And in that month, I already worked for this Christian ministry. I received 4 times the same dream. And that dream was that I was back in my old company, being in charge, and I enjoyed it and I liked it. And I was asking myself, would I go back or would I maintain what I'm doing?
Mhm.
And because it was exactly the same dream 4 times, I talked with my
4
daughter about
times.
coffee. And I said to my daughter, I have this dream and, I don't know what to do with it. She said, Dad, probably God would like to tell you something. I said, oh, my
Mm.
daughter, 16 years old.
Oh.
You used to meet your guy.
Oh
We should have
my
this
God.
lesson. So this
Oh.
evening in my hotel room, I start praying. And then God asked me, what you do currently, working for me, is that an ambition? And you say, it was nice to do it now. And now I'm next stage and I would like to do something else. Or is that something as a calling?
Mhm.
And then I realized that my whole life I was prepared for what I'm now doing. I was in business, at a crisis in my marriage. I had the successes in business. I saw everything. I thought, no, this is a calling. God, I will not change my
Mhm.
occupation unless you calls me to. And
Yeah.
and in November, I lost more or less my energy. I was looking to the grass somewhere else. Should I do there? Is that maybe better? But at that time, when I understand this is my calling, I receive my energy and my passion and my enthusiasm again. And that drives me and gives me energy. And I think it's very important that where you are, that you start to understand why I'm here. Is this a
Mhm.
calling? Did God call me here? And should I live up to his standard here, serving him where I am? Or is this my ambition, or is it just providing for something else that I can pay
Mhm.
something else, but I don't
Mhm.
like so much what I'm doing? And I think there is a calling for all of us in this life, and that we can live
Definitely.
everywhere. I think when you look at creation, God said, I would like to make people to my image and likeness. And what does that
Yeah.
mean? Who is God? And what is this image bearer of God? I think God made this earth in all its diversity, in all its beauty, in a very creative way. So we
Mhm.
can become creative. We can build something. We can make something. We are called to make things, build things, being creative. And every day he said, it was good.
Mhm.
And make
Mhm.
beautiful things. Make things that are really beautiful, that really means, and that you can say at the end of the day, maybe not everything came to pass, but at least what came to pass is very beautiful. I did it with my whole
Mhm.
passion. I did it with my whole heart. And it's beautiful. The other thing, what you see to God is not only what he did, is his character. He's a person who is compassionate. He's a person with mercy. He's forgiving. He's loving people. So in all your interactions with all your people, your suppliers, your staff, where you are, be compassionate, be merciful, live with love. And then he created mankind to live in relationship with him. And I think
Mhm.
meaningful relationships are the core and the essence of life. Everything where you are, you do it for people. Everything where you are, it is important to celebrate these relationships in a meaningful way, that you add value to people, that you help people to flourish. And God,
Yeah.
made 6 days to create earth, and on the 7th day he made man. Only in 1 day. But it took him 6 days to create an environment where man can flourish.
Yeah.
So make time to make people flourish. Create an environment where people can flourish, and take your time for it. So I think that kind of calling you can live everywhere. To love people,
Yeah.
to serve people. And then he said to mankind, be fruitful and multiply. And I think be fruitful. And there he talks about biological children, but I can also imagine spiritual children.
Yeah.
Create people with the same DNA, with the same thoughts, with the same meaning, with the same values, with the same heart as I am. And then you also can do that everywhere. You can do that in your company.
Everywhere.
You can do that everywhere. So I think it is very important. And then he said, live in unity with me. So live your daily life in unity. Listen to my voice. Listen to what I want to tell you. I would like to instruct you. I would like to guide you. I would like to help you. I'm there to serve you. Is that not amazing that we have the most powerful God who created all the universe and said, I
It's
know you are
amazing, really.
people, but I would like to serve you.
It's
And we said,
amazing,
we
really.
need to serve you. And God said, I know you would like to serve me. I'm grateful for that. But you are limited. Let me serve you in this intimate relationship, and I will give you
Yeah.
everything you long for.
Yeah.
And that this big God is not too big to serve us, small creatures. And I think even when you are very successful as an entrepreneur, or when you have a big business, feel this compassion and go to the cleaner of the toilets and meet them, talk with them, serve them, give them a good life. And when we start throughout our business models, solve the needs of this world, serve the individual, put all our talents and creativity into practice, that this world can be a better place, we start to reflect God in all its ways. And I think that is
Amen.
our calling.
Amen.
So
Really.
don't live
Amen.
from this ambition, live for a calling and from a calling.
Yeah. It's so really emotional for me to hear you because it's the purpose of this show. It's heart to heart because it's helping people to have faith in everything that because that life is so hard in so many ways, and hearing people who transform this world because I really hope, and we are building this new Jerusalem. Definitely, it's something that I'm working for every day, and I'm so pleased that to see that so many people are taking this path. And Ruther, thank you so much, really, for sharing your experience, and it gives so many hope. I'm wondering also something else. I've read, you've sent me this booklet, Surpassing Success by you, which is absolutely really interesting because it gives, you propose a model based on 7 interdependent types of capital. Could you just give some words about that?
Yes. Yeah, we think as an entrepreneur, not only chase for the money. We call that financial capital. And many people limit their success and limit their life and make it that small that they only focus on this small financial capital, making money. But life is much more than only financial capital. God gives more forms of capital in this world. And the first, most important one, I think, is human capital. He gives human people. He gives meaningful relationships. And human capital is more or less who we are as a human being, with our talents, with our personality, with our willing, with our creativity, with our mind. And then he made relational capital. We can relate to each other. We can build a society. We can build networks. We live in an ecosystem. We build teams. And that's also part of the company. Teams, ecosystem, relationships with suppliers, with this world, with creation, with God. So you also have relational capital. The third thing he gave is natural capital. He gives all of creation, this whole earth. He said, it's for you. You can use it well, then it will flourish and it will give you even more. But there is a lot to gain there. Then what I call productive capital. That is the part of human capital that has economical worth. That is your skills, your talents, etc. And I separate them because we can easily look at a person as an economical object, but then we will lose the dignity of mankind. So I distinguish human capital from productive capital for that reason. The other thing is that we have manufactured capital. Manufactured capital is all our technology. It's the hardware we use, our cars, our phones, the computers, a building. It's what we manufacture to make life more easy and more comfortable. And sure, we have financial capital. And the last form of capital, seventh capital, is spiritual capital. And spiritual capital represents, and that's the most important one, next to human capital, as human capital is more or less the end goal. Spiritual capital is the purpose. Why do we do what we do? It's what we believe about this world. It's the values, and it's the culture we bring. And spiritual capital is more or less the center point. If you look at these different forms of capital as some kind of wheel, then spiritual capital is the center. Everything turns around it. And your purpose, your values, the culture you build, the beliefs you have about this world, they color all your actions. So it's also the heart of the company. Because what I believe about this world reflects in the instructions I give, reflects in my leadership, reflects in the way I build the business, it reflects the way I treat people, I treat suppliers, I treat creation. So the spiritual capital is of key importance. It's the why also. And we know all of Simon Sinek, that people, this why. Small why talk he did that goes over the world. People connect to you, why you do what you do, and where do you believe in. People buy why you do things. This why is of utmost importance, and many people in our society are looking for this why I'm here. What is it I can bring to the table? What are the values I believe in? What do I believe about this world? How can I live it? So this spiritual capital is the center part. Now, and the challenge for us entrepreneurs is not only to chase financial capital, but make all these type of capitals grow. And the secret of these type of capitals, they are already given to you in advance. They are the asset of the company. We already have human capital. It's all around. Relational capital, God created. It's the teams you have, the ecosystem you work in, the network you're in, society you are part of, the village you live in. Natural capital is the commodities. It's clean water, it's oil, it's gold, it's everything that creation gave. It's the fruit, it's eating, it's the animals. It's all given to us. So we are already unimaginable rich with these four types of capital God gave us: the human, relational, creation, and our creativity, skills, etc. And God said, the only thing what you need to do is to take care of them and then to multiply them. And we as humans, we added manufacture and financial capital to it, because financial capital, it makes trade smooth, it gives value to objects. And manufacturing capital makes life more comfortable. That's our calling. But the other forms of capital, they were already there. And the only thing what we need to do is to unpack them, to multiply them, and then the rest will flow from it. So as an entrepreneur, our goal is to see them as assets, to multiply the assets in our company by the way we steer the company, and also to add value to it in what we produce or the services we give to all these forms of capital. When we start to think in that way, it will change our behavior, it will change our thinking, it will change our companies. And instead of being rich in money, we will create what we call true wealth, an holistic wealth where everyone benefit.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We are building this kingdom. I just wanted to focus, we have a few time, about the actions that you are building with your partners. Uh, I read that you developed the online for including non-Christian professionals. You offered personalized journeys. You build also organizational professionalization. uh, um, could you give me more information, because it could help also the ones who are listening to us and are entrepreneurs, and for helping them probably to be in touch with you directly and to help to change their own companies.
Yes. Yeah, we offer all kind of tools. We offer trainings, we offer weekends, we offer meeting points where people can meet each other, exchange ideas, get inspiration. So there's a lot going on. So get in
Yeah,
touch with us by europartners.org, the website. Or if you would like to know our thoughts about true wealth and what is beyond
yeah,
success or surpassing success, go to surpassingsuccess.com. But just to, you mentioned it just before, you said we built a new Jerusalem. I
yeah,
think the biggest thing we have is that we not building Jerusalem. Jesus Christ is building the new Jerusalem, but he's
it's true.
enabling us to become part of this process.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and nowadays, I see a lot of people in this world being in fear, feeling anxiety. Where's this world going? We feel we're going down. The world get indebted. Politics is changing. We are in a change of times. Uh, wars increasing. Where is our hope? And let
Yeah,
me explain. The hope is not in what we do as human beings, as you and I. Although we are Christians, we are as limited, as broken as all the other people.
absolutely.
But we have one hope, and that is Jesus Christ. As he was a human being, and he's God, and he's without sin. And sin
Yeah,
is more or less the limitation of us human beings. That is where we disconnect from God and said, God, we don't need you. We can do it ourselves. But then we are
yeah,
limited to ourselves. And we don't allow God, who has all the power in this world, to work in this world and to work through us. And I think we should focus there, as Jesus is the true hope. He's the true salvation. He's the true peace. He's the true prosperity. Uh, he would like to bring this to the table. And the only question he has, he said, I would like to serve so deeply and so gracefully. Please allow me to serve you.
yeah,
And then you will be
definitely.
amazed what I can bring to the table and how I can work through you, and know that I will establish this earth. And I think he describes this wonderful. When the messianic kingdom comes, then
Hmm.
people will live in their own houses, so there will not be any war anymore. People will eat from what they establish themselves, and what they build themselves. So there is no labor in vain anymore, where you feel, I put a lot of efforts in it, but it didn't bear fruit. He will cease the wars. He will break the spears, and so he will create a peace that is beyond just peace as no war. It is a peace where everything comes at rest, where everyone feels at ease, where everything will fit into its rightful place, where all humanity is seen and valued as, this is the person you should be, and I will
Hmm.
make you it, and I will make you it happen in your life. And I think that is where we as your partners are proud of, that we can bring that gospel. So sure, we can teach you a lot. We can give you God's plans. We can give you God's values. But if you miss out of that relationship, you miss the
Yeah,
source, you miss the key, you miss everything.
this is the
Because
source.
we
Yeah,
we we, we are still as limited as all the non-Christians are, and we are not better
absolutely.
persons. But the only thing is, we are on the same world, but we can have someone who's bigger than
Yeah,
us,
that we
willing
could
to
follow.
come to us.
Yeah,
And that is, I think, the solution for this world. And then you can rest in ease. Then you can be in peace. If you know in this world that is really in turmoil, where a lot is changing, where all the stability is gone, where we feel this world will not be tomorrow the same as it was yesterday, and how to act there and how to live there. If you don't have this inner peace that you know, I'm connected to a God who controls it all, you can hardly live there, because then you will be scattered and you will try to grasp everything for yourself. And when I can protect myself, when I can be secure, when I can build my own kingdom and keep all the evil out, then maybe I will survive.
No.
But we can face all the challenges. We can see all the changes. And we said, we are not afraid. We are coming to serve you. Tell me what is your problem. And I'm willing to serve, and I'm willing to help. And I do that from an inner peace and an inner identity that is deeply rooted in a faith and in a trust that there is a higher being who will take care for us. And I think that is the key message your partners bring to this world. And if you are an entrepreneur and you long for this inner peace, and you long for the stability, and you long for, I would like to serve this world out of this strong identity. And I understand that my knowledge is limited. I understand that my skills are limited. I understand that we are as limited as others, but I don't know where this extra dimension is. We can help you to fill that, and then to live it in this world and become a blessing for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. We have to be humble, really, heart humble, for receiving all the message that God could send us directly for transforming, for helping Him to transform this world. Definitely. I would try to share this is the this is the book Jerusalem Entrepreneur that you can that you can order. Afterwards, you could send me the link where, and that will be sent in the chat. Okay. So
it's
if you are interested in
Amazon, you can buy it on Amazon.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
in
Okay.
French, I
Sounds
think
good.
in every bookstore as well. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
ask it. It's fully EBM registered book, and so.
Okay. Thank you so much, Wouter. It was a real pleasure to have you. A deep understanding, and the explanation are very clear. And what is hopeful is that we can transform with God, with the help of Jesus, we can transform this world, and it is possible. So it is a real hope message. Thank you again, Wouter. See you probably next time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Take care. Bye bye. Take care of you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Bye.